Hello and welcome to Flory Models Kit Review Time. Today we've got Fine Mods 172nd F4 Phantom, and let's face it, who doesn't love a Phantom? That sort of classic war horse that is still going strong in many countries even today. So anyway, this one is known as the first MiG Ace, as we can see down in here. Some very nice. This is obviously one of their export versions of this one, so we do get some of the figure parts, as you can see down in here. Some of the details around on the box there, so you've got nice detail up parts available as well for it. There is a weapon set that's available for it as well, which is separate, and then we can see around on here. So your kit number for this one is FP47S, different numbering system, and there we go. So this is the D version, sort of the F4 for the Air Force, or the early Air Force version we could say, down in there like that. So lovely box art, I have to say. That's very nice indeed. So in the box we are greeted by somewhat separate bags. We've got a front end down in here, tails. Again, they have done a few different flavors of this for the versions out there, so expect to see common parts and various things, as you might imagine, throughout. So we've got one bag there. We've got a completely separate area with a spine, because obviously with the Air Force ones being top refuelers as well, so we've got that one down in there. Again, we've got the other half down in this one. We've got another bag which is more of the common parts, shall we say, just down in here. We've got a huge old decal sheet, so anybody's ever built a Phantom, yep, you guessed it, all the stencil data is there. And then as always we got the instructions, so we'll pop in here, have a look first. So as I said before, there is some obviously common parts, but the way that they've bagged it sort of gets around that problem, so I won't worry about it too much. There's just a few to look out for down in here. You've got a few little detail things about putting kits together, as you might imagine, and again there is a couple of other things as well, so you get some harnesses for it, and again there is a separate weapon sets available for it as well, so something to think about. All right, so straight into it. Step one, as you can see, we're working down there on the cockpit, pretty much standard. We've got the nose wheel being fitted underneath there. Side panels are separate, so that's quite nice as well, so some nice details all going down in there. And then we've got the rear bulkhead and the rear instruments being fitted down into this one, and then we've got the front one being fitted in there, and that mid bulkhead going down in there as well. We get somewhat lengthed intakes, which is quite nice, so it does have a little bit more down in here, and it is molded into this outer part, which is a nice touch with these kits. Anyway, cockpit goes in, they plug in. You can see some nice locating areas for a good firm join down in there as well. So again, you can see those down in there. Then we've got the front splitters going down there for those intakes being fitted in. And then the outer part, which is this sort of shell effect that goes over those sort of, one-piece intakes as they go down in there, all right? So that's quite nice, all right? And then obviously you've got the front parts and rears being fitted on here. So again, it's a really modern way of putting the F4 together. Some that we've seen later on, obviously 48th and 32nd scale kits. So some nice stuff down in there. And again, carrying it through. So we've got the first stage compressor blades being fitted down in there. Then we've got some strengthening plates going down in as well, which is a very nice touch. And then this front end is going to plug in, so giving you those sort of one-piece intakes running down effect into this one. That top plate being put on there as well, so there's no nasty seam line to deal with, but you have got to open up a couple of holes down in here for pylons and things like that, so that's what that's talking about. And then again, nice detailed bays for the wheel well bays. We've got the auxiliary power unit doors that open up at the bottom down in there as well. We do have detail for those, so that's really nice. And again, a nice way of getting a good sort of seamless effect with having good strengthening plates and things like that between the front and the forward edge of the main fuselage. You can see nice big tab in there, so hopefully that will stop that. Talking about painting and then popping the wing sections and the various bits together in there just like that. Fuselage top and bottom halves going together. A few little plates and things down in here. Being the Air Force version, these would normally have the hooks for the bridle system for the catapults on the aircraft carriers, but in the Air Force one, obviously you've got blanking plates on there. There's a couple of other plates. We've got the nose going on there and the track system being fitted down onto that one. Then at the back we've got, I call it the clamshell effect for the heated plating as well. That's a separate one as well, so a nice easy job for painting, because you can do this all in metals, then attach it afterwards if you felt the way of doing doing it that way. Nice deep engines as well, so a nice touch with this kit. You get obviously almost full length intakes, but also you got full length engines as well, so no just bits of nozzle at the end, which is really nice as well. And again, very similar to the way that the Tamiya Big Bird 32nd one goes together, with the outer metal parts being fitted down in there as well. Again, tail system being fitted down on here, and again there's lots of different versions for the Phantom with the tails and things, so again just making sure you've got the right one to your scheme, things like that. We've got the actual horizontal stabilizers, stabs at the back, those are being fitted. Obviously you've got metal colours onto those as well, and then it's into the gear, so we've got nose, main gear, we've got the doors being all fitted down there, loads of detail right the way through. And then again, same with the nose system being fitted down onto this one. Then obviously we've got the missiles, so we've got the sparrows and the sidewinders, we've got the pylons and the rails and things like that fitted down in here as well. Obviously this being the Air Force one, it comes with air-to-air weaponry. If you did want to fix it out with air-to-ground, obviously there is an aftermarket set available for all the ground ordnance as well. Fuel tanks obviously being fitted, so we've got the wing tanks and the main tank as well being done on that. And then it's a case of what weapons loadout you're going to go through on this one. Various options down in there. The seats, again, another really nice touch with those, good detailer seats. There is no harnesses, you could scratch build, or as you say, there is an aftermarket set available for those, or of course you go aftermarket seats completely. And then obviously dash down the clear work, so clear parts all being fitted down under there as well. It's actually a nice way of doing it, so again you've got options open or closed with the canopies, whichever way you feel. Then the gift that keeps giving, yes, stenciling. So there we go, that's all your stencil data. It's not that clear, and if you're a bit bug-eyed like I am these days, you're going to need your magnifiers on for doing these. But we've got lots of stencil data, as you might imagine, right the way over. The only saving grace is they are in larger carrier film areas, but again, sometimes it's better to cut these up into small, but you know, it's personal choice on that one. Your marking options, so we've got down in there the Jaeger one, which is 10th of May 1968, so very nice job with that one. And then we've got some of the other options down in here. We've got this one just down in here as well, so that's another nice one from August 72. Or your final option is obviously this one down in here as well, December 72. As I say, some nice good options on these right the way through. Okay, so your decals, say it's a huge big sheet. I'm not going to bother getting these out, but you get an idea of how much fun doing Phantoms is. To be honest, I often get people say about, oh, I couldn't be doing all of those. It what makes a Phantom. Without these all onto them, it's not a Phantom. So it's one of those, you sort of take your time, do it in sections. It doesn't take that long. It looks a lot more scary than it is. Another nice touch down in here, fully detailed colour decals for your actual instrument panels and side consoles as well. So it's a nice easy option to do that one. You could still leave them as raised detail, but if you want to sand off the details and put these on flat, depending which way. All right, so nice touch with those. So I think what we'll do, we'll start in here. If I can get in here even, it's a bit tricky. So this is your back spine. Hopefully the camera can see the detail. So again, this is a new breed of the Phantom kits. These are just as much detail as you get on the 32nd Tamiya one or any of the 48 scale ones. And again, beautifully recessed, incredibly sharp details just down in there like that. So you've got that riveting detail as well as all the other parts. That's very nice indeed. Then we have, I'm just going to work this through in some type of order, I think. So we got the front sections. So again, if we start down in here, you can see that nose. And again, really nice, good, sharp detail right the way through. The detail, as you can see, under the belly down in here with those sort of forward sparrow bays. The tail looking really nice. We've got the nose. Again, all really nice details in there. On the inside, we've got a little bit of sort of detail for the inside of the cockpit. But again, the cockpit's really nice on these. No ejector pins on the inside of the nose door, as you can see, so that's really nice. And these really big locating tabs, hopefully going to make for a nice, good, solid fit down in there like that. Whilst we've got it out here, we've got the top spine area, again with the refueling door. We've got the pylons, which are correct for the Air Force version. We've got the nose strut as well for the gear, and we've got the belly tank, which is the big old belly tank for that one as well. And again, exactly the same. Really very nice indeed. Some of the other little differences, so we've got the little track underneath. The instrument panel's obviously correct for this version, the HUD, things like that, and obviously the side consoles. So these are all correct for the F-4D on Sprue U here. So if you are doing any other Phantom family that they're doing, obviously they'll be correct for the particular model that you're making. So that's all very nice. And over down in here, we have, again, slightly different nose. So we've got the area down in here to have the forward area. We've got this side on as well. And again, the reason it's molded like this, and there's two and they're all different, is obviously with the Navy versions, you've got the refueling doors in here. So again, they are molded completely different. So very nice indeed. And again, different types for different models of Phantom. So again, very nice there. Tailplanes. Again, gorgeously detailed. And catch it in the light. There you go. You can see all that riveting that's in there. Absolutely stunning. Really very, very nice. And under there as well. The nozzles will not fail because these look absolutely gorgeous. As good as you get anything in resin as well. So that's really very nice indeed. So that's those. Then in Mr. Big Sprue, this tends to be your more common parts down in here. And again, like we said before, you've got different bits and pieces all over these. So again, let's put the clear parts slightly out of the way. And those. If we start with the big sprue, we'll come back to those in a second. So again, this is your Sprue A, your sort of common sprue for all of them. Really very, very nice details. And then again, down in here, we will flip over and have a look. But again, the details down in here for these auxiliary intakes, for the underneath the Phantom for the engines, really nicely detailed. The seats look very, very nice. Again, just need set harnesses. Detail on the sides of these intakes. The splitters as well, looking really nice as well. Full length cans, as we were saying, for the engines down the back. The clamshell areas looking really very nice. And again, it's done in a way to make painting easier. Molded in the first stage of the compressor blades on those J79 engines. So they're down in there as well. You have got a couple of ejector pins down in here, but to be honest, they're nice and easy to take care of, and they're pretty deep before you'll have to worry about those. And again, things like the cockpit is pretty much devoid of anything because you build it up to the version you want. But you can see wheel wells, lots of detail already molded in there. Then again, these are the actual ones for the gear doors. Really very, very nice indeed. Fully detailed, no ejector pins in there. Absolutely gorgeous. Really, very, very, very nicely detailed. And again, these intakes, beautifully done all the way through. So yeah, very nice indeed. Again, we will just pop into here. So we've got the underside of the Phantom completely. Again, really sharp, very, very crisp. These wing tops, very nicely done. And again, on the inside, not really much to shout home about because it's all on the outside. The flaps and the ailerons are moulded in situ, but that's fine. But the external or the outer wingtips aren't, so you could fold them up. So you could have them as a wing fold if you wanted to. And again, beautifully detailed right the way through. Loads of detail on those. And again, last up, we've got the actual wing tanks and a few lumps and bumps and stuff. Some of this is relevant, some of it isn't. So again, we've got the pylons, we've got the wing tanks and a different centerline fuel tank as well. So we've got all of those in there. Looking really nice. A little bit of flash on these, but to be honest, really quick clean up on those parts. No problem at all. Finally, the bonus thing is the two little figures. So our two little guys down in here for your crew. So if you're doing them in flight or just sitting in, again, they're very, very tiny, but hopefully you can see those. Nicely done. Again, just a nice little touch down into those, just like that. Last up, we've actually got the clear parts, as you can see. So, clear parts, we have one piece moulded in one, which is really nice because you can use it as a mask whilst you paint the rest of it if you are doing it canopy open, and vice versa, of course. And again, they actually look pretty good. Again, it's quite challenging in the smaller scales, but actually looks very, very nice indeed. It's got very, very fine details going across. You can just hear it, I hope, but it's not big and chunky. So again, it's perfectly in scale, but with your masking, you are going to have to take your time with it or get a mask set. I think that would definitely be the way to go. So yeah, really nice. Hopefully you can see now just how far 70-second kits have come, because let's face it, having built Tamiya's, or a couple of times now, I've built Tamiya's 30-second kits, the layout is pretty much identical to how the Tamiya one goes together. And again, I should think Fine Molds have probably taken a lot of inspiration from that, because the way that this one goes is almost a direct comparison. The level of detail is probably a direct comparison as well. It really is very, very nice. But if you'd seen, obviously, 48 scale modern kits, you know, Zukamori, things like that coming along, you'll know just how good those kits are and how detailed they are. And then obviously over recent years, we've seen things like the Airfix Phantoms come out and things like that. And they're really nice. But they're nice. They're not this. This is actually on a totally different level. And I know some people sometimes wince at the price of these kits because they're a little bit more expensive. But hopefully now you've seen just what you get in there and the level of detail you've got. That makes that small bit of price increase over some of the competitors, shall we say, well worth it. Because definitely this is the most detailed F4 Phantom out on the market. As for going together, I've never built these, which is one thing I do like to rectify. So I'm probably going to keep this kit and at some point build it just to see how well they go together. But from what I've heard from professionals in the trade and hobbyists alike and things like that, it goes together really, really well. So you don't have anything to worry about there. Anyway, that is the gorgeous F4 Phantom by Fine Molds in 1/72.